I don't know if I'm late or something. I got a job in the United States after my Mandela Washington Fellowship, and I'm going to be talking about it today. Please share, 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 so that a lot of people get to listen to me, and they're kind of, in tune with how they can make their own application stand out as well. I'm not going to say that my application was the best, but for the fact that it took me into a program like this, prestigious program by the United States Department of State, and again handled or implemented by IREX, a body like IREX. I'm not representing any of them. Disclaimer. I'm here because I want to share how you can get into the program as well. So out of 700 of us, and out of 700 of us, 100 were selected to stay back in the United States after the fellowship. I've dropped the link to the program in the description box, but I'm just going to also read about this program here as well. So please stay put, have your pen and paper if you are applying for this program, and I'm going to be right back. Okay. I just want to open the essay that I wrote, and I'm going to be sharing my screen so that you can have a look at it and also ask yourself some questions or reflect on what you've been doing so far, and then that's just it. All right. So welcome, and if you are new, my name is David. It's written on the video, David Francis Effiong. It's written very well on the video. So let's get connected, and I can share my story, a little bit of the story, how I got into this program as the first Nigerian Mandela Washington Fellowship to get into this program. And then I'll introduce the amazing people you can see at my background there, okay? All right, so if you are just joining, I'm going to be talking about how I got to work in the United States, courtesy of the Mandela Washington Fellowship, and I stayed back after the fellowship. And I'm sure by now you probably must have clicked on the link if you're interested in applying for this program. The deadline is coming up pretty much soon, and I'm just going to be here to share with you how I got into the program and had to experience what it means to work in the United States. Okay. So I am going to introduce. Okay, this is the first person here. This is the amazing Walid. Walid Wakim is the guy in charge of human resource. I think there's a new name for human resource now. And next to Walid is the amazing Ashley Middleton. Ashley Middleton works with, I think she's a project manager now. And of course, next to Ashley is my friend and good colleague. I think we are the only black folks here, as you can see. And she is Muna. Muna is from South Sudan. She's also the first to work in here as a fellow from South Sudan, and she's having fun. So next to Muna is the guy over there. That is the country director of this organization, and his name is Mustafa Kudrati. And Mustafa handles over projects, fundraising, and every other thing to about more than 40 countries. And then opposite Mustafa is my supervisor, Sarah Halfcroft. Amazing, 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 amazing person. I still remember when Kelvin and Sarah gave us a very magnanimous welcome when we arrived Washington DC from Detroit, and she's been amazing. She hooked me up with the planning, the anyway, she hooked me up with the organization's sector in Zimbabwe, and close to Sarah is well, that's me, but that guy over there is Colton Hubbard. Colton Hubbard works with the gender, how do you call it? Gender, gender, you know, wisdom, comments. Why do I forget this thing? There's so many people in the office, but I can't forget Colton. Yes, works with youth empowerment. I remember Colton works with youth empowerment or youth programs, and then that's me over there. You can see that's me, the cutest guy in the room. And after that, followed by the very smiling Erin Digro, the last person you see close to me this way. Okay, that is Erin Digro, an amazing person. I've had interviews with Colton, with Erin, with Mustafa, and then with John Ludin, and so many other people who were in New York, in New York, in California, in other places in the US. Had amazing, amazing sessions with them. Okay. So now this organization is Plan International Washington DC, and they work with the headquarters in the United Kingdom, and they are in charge of. Oh, I must not forget John Ludin is not in this table. It's not on this table. This was my first dinner, like a welcome party. It's not on this table, but he was a country director. I think he still is a country director of Guatemala. Yes, country director of Guatemala at the time. I would love to know if you are listening, if you can hear me clearly. Let me check my socials and be sure that there are people who can hear me. Because sometimes this audio kind of mess up. Let me see if that is. Oh my God. Oh my God. Right. Let me see. All right, guys. So give me a minute. In the US, and I'm going to be sharing my screen. If you are just joining, I have already introduced my colleagues here from Wally to Middleton to Muna. Okay, this way. Oh my God. Okay, this is Wally, this is Middleton, this is Muna, that is the country director, Mustafa, Sarah Havcroft, my supervisor, and then I have Colton Hubbard, who works with youth development, myself, and then of course this person here. Okay, how do I do that? Yeah, this person. Yeah, close the smiling Erin. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and take you all through the website once again, just in case you've not had the time to go through the website. Of course, if you are applying for this program, you should have the time to go through this website so that you can understand clearly how the thing works. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now. Thank you for your patience, and just wanted to be sure that my audio was loud enough. Okay, let's see. All right, so this is the program. It's called the Mandela Washington Fellowship Professional Development Experience. Okay, and then I just hope that everyone can see my screen. So what is this? What is this about? The professional development experience, that is PDEs, offer enriching opportunities to US US organizations US organizations and communities to participate in a collaborative exchange by hosting young African professionals for substantive work experiences that explore issues and workplace culture from US and African perspectives. Both fellows and hosts benefit from discussing shared issues and challenges in their sectors, broadening their perspectives and positioning US organizations for international engagement. From 2014 to 2022, fellows completed 15 155,000 hours of professional training at nearly 400 companies, organizations, and government agencies in 32 states and the District of Columbia. This is very interesting. This is the map of the US, as we know. And then PDEs provide US companies, nonprofits, and government agencies with a unique opportunity to gain a global perspective on their work while offering a tailored experience to an accomplished young professional looking to share their expertise, hone transferable skills, and forge lasting professional relationships with their American counterparts. Now, I must say here, categorically speaking, that when you are applying for the fellowship, you are not applying for the fellowship to to as someone who doesn't have any experiences at all in whatever you're doing. So there are three tracks in the fellowship, as we all know: the business track, the civic engagement track, and of course, public policy. So depending on which tracks you choose during your fellowship, you may also want to make a little bit more research about the organizations that work in those tracks in the United States. For instance, when I was making my research, I worked in the civic space at the time. Of course, right now, if I want to apply for the fellowship again, I'll definitely go for the business track because of the transformative process of my work at the moment. So, but again, then I applied as a civic person, like someone who works in the civic space, and I made research about U.S. organizations who were doing things that I was doing at the time. Okay, in child development and in youth, I'm still doing youth empowerment and entrepreneurship now. Okay, but mostly child protection and development and youth and rural youth programs. That's what I was. That's the aspect of my application that I put forth. So I had to go research about US organizations that were doing similar things that I was doing back home in Nigeria. And I made that research. And I wasn't just applying for the fellowship like someone who doesn't know what, like someone, just give me a minute. Okay. I wasn't applying to the fellowship like someone who was new to the world of the civic space. I came with so many experiences to share with those that I was going to encounter in the United States. So if you are staying back for this program, it means that you have something you need to offer. So think about it that way: something you need to offer and something you need to share with those that you are going to be working with. For instance, many people, almost everyone on this table, including my colleague Muna from South Sudan, almost everyone on this table, I shared a little bit of what I did back home in Nigeria with them. And they also shared what they were doing. That's how I came to know that the organization had presence in over 50 countries and its headquarters in the UK. You see? So they have Plan International in the US and Plan International in the UK. And I was even able to, through interactions with everyone on this table, I got to know. One of them introduced me to some of the leaders in Plan International in Nigeria, and I was able to have a meeting with them, with two of the members of Plan International in the country. Okay, so it was, that networking. You need to be able to have moments to interact with people that you are going to be. So you are not just there to learn from US organizations. You are also going to be there to have the opportunity to also share, to learn, and to share what you've learned, and to share your own experiences as well. So it was a great honor to be in the midst of these amazing people you see just at the back of my screen. So I'm going to share my screen again. So let's go through it. Now, before, okay, let me do that. Let me share. Okay, so this is just a photo of previous 2019 fellowship alumni Lemnot El Akin and Annie Chepeta speak at an event at Capitol Hill. Okay, so the fellowship gave me an amazing opportunity to also explore the DC area, the DC area. You can see the organization I worked with is right here. Let me see. So you have the 2022 professional development experience course. Every year it seems to me that people will just go make those applications to different companies in the US. I know someone who works with the American Bar Association. I know someone who worked with the Child Care Center. I know someone who worked with the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Service. Let me go down. See? I know someone who works with the Hope Project. I know someone who works with Microsoft, with the One Campaign. Also, this is the organization I work with Plan International USA. By the way, guys, I was actually the first Mandela Washington Fellow to actually work with this organization. And when I was sending my application, I made my research. I discovered that there are some organizations that were doing what I was doing back home in Nigeria, like UNICEF, UNICEF, SOS Children, Plan International, and the U.S. Department of Child Services, and then some volunteer, some how do you call them again? Foster care homes. Okay, yes, I wanted to work in those places, so I had a list. Even if, now listen, this is a tricky part. Even if the fellowship already have a list, I need this to come very well. Even if the fellowship already had a list of organizations that fellows have worked with in the past, even if they already had a list of organizations fellows worked in the past. But I said, you know what, I'm going to make further research and see. I choose two of, I think you have to choose like 5. I don't know, I've forgotten. But you have to make a choice of organizations you want to work with, and they'll pair you with those organizations after looking at your qualifications. So I really give it out to, I give it out to IREX, because they really did pair me with one of the best organizations that match my description, my personal experience. They do thorough work. I can tell you that they do really serious thorough work to make sure they match you with organizations. So if you're in the business sector, they're going to match you with the best of the best organizations in the US, so that you can go share your experience and also learn. If you're in the public sector, they do the same. As a matter of fact, my friend Sibonisi from South Africa worked in the office of Senator Coons. I think I posted his birthday photos on my Facebook and Instagram stories a couple of days back. An amazing guy, and we're friends. Only that he loves walking. He loves taking a walk compared to myself. I just want to jump into the train and off I go. But Sibonisi would prefer to trek for over 30 minutes. And the guy kind of taught me how to walk and explore this area compared to how I would have if I was depending on Uber and the train, Uber train, and I think I used the scooter sometimes. Anyway, going forward, so Sibonisi works with the office of Senator Coons, and it was an amazing experience. But that's what I'm saying. They're going to match you with the best of the best opportunities so that you can leverage. Remember, you are a young professional from the continent of Africa. You are not coming here as a refugee. You are not coming here as someone who just want to seek maybe asylum. You're not coming because you didn't have anything to do back home in your country. I've been in the development space for over 10 years. So that is a massive experience for me to be paired with Plan International in the United States, for me to be paired with any organization at all. So I'm bringing the experiences. So you have to keep this in mind. So even if there is a list of organizations that they have been you are required to select from, you can also make extra research. So I got to know that I was the first Mandela Washington Fellow from Nigeria, as a matter of fact, with my friend Muna from South Sudan, to work in this organization, because it was after they received my choice of organization that they actually had to start reaching out to Plan, and thank God Plan actually say yes. Oh, we are ready to welcome new folks into our system. And so they gave that shot because of the email I sent or because of my choice. I'm not saying you should be unreasonable in your ambition. For instance, you can't just say you want to work with, everything is possible anyway. But I'm thinking that IREX will not want you to be moving around with president, the U.S. president, in the name of development experience, because that is highly serious office. Okay. Not many people have that opportunity. You can work with a senator, but I'm not sure that you may be prepared to work with the US president. Anyway, but again, it's possible. I'm not representing IREX. They may change their mind tomorrow and decide to, you know what, let's have fellows to work with the US president. Who knows? Or the US Secretary of State. Who knows? You know, these things are possible. So if you can dream it, you can have it. Like I dreamt of working with Plan International, and there you have it. I got in and I was so excited. It was an amazing experience to share with you guys. So that's one thing I want to tell you. Go through the website again. Let me share my screen. This is the website, all right? Go through the website, look at the list of the organizations, read through the program, and you know, and then apply. Excuse me. And then apply. Okay. So I'm going to show you some of the amazing photos some of the amazing photos I took while I was working in DC. Just some, because there are so many of them. Thanks to my friend Sibonisi, who was my photographer at the time. Okay. So let me show you a bit of the All right. So I just showed you some of the photos that I took during the fellowship, and I'm just going to go right ahead, share my screen, and then take you guys through the whole process, the what my application looked like, so that you can have that. All right. So this is how the application looks like. Also, we can see the screen though. Right. So I already talked about this. If you are just watching, and I talked about my application to the fellowship. I also read some of the things I wrote to submitted. I'm going to put the link maybe in the description or up there if you're listening to this on YouTube. So I read all of these, okay, but now I'm going to concentrate on the PDE fellowship, the PDE program pattern, the professional development experience. All right, so this is it. Now I wrote this down, saved it. I said, what are the goals? This is a question that I was asked at the time. All right. What are your goals for the professional development experience, including the specific skills and knowledge that you hope to gain? How would you apply for how would you apply an experience working in a US organization to your work after returning to your home country? So now this is how I'm able to divide this question into sections. The first is I looked at my goals for the professional development experience, which is the first question here, right? What are your goals? So how was I able to answer about my goals for the professional development experience? I looked first at the website, which I just showed you now. So you have to go read the website, listen or watch videos of past fellows who did their professional development experiences, and then make your personal research about the program. Make sure that you check the organizations that you would love to work with in the US and try to personalize your application. So these were the steps that I took, that gave me an idea of what the goals of the program are in the first place, and of course the specific skills that I intend to get. So you have to now mention the specific skills and knowledge, the specific skills and knowledge I hope to gain. For instance, if you are in the business sector and you want to work with which organization? Let me say you want to work with XYZ business organization in the US. That means definitely that you would be looking at an opportunity to learn how to build, how to write business plans, okay, to learn how to position your business for investment opportunities for funding, something like that. And make sure that you connect all your stories from the beginning of your fellowship application to even when you're writing your PDE application, that you make sure that everything is following one after the other. There's no need of it. Maybe when you are applying for the fellowship, you are talking about your experience in the civic space, and then you come to PDE and you want to move over and talk about your experience in the business sector or in public sector. So make sure that you choose one track and make sure you write about that track from beginning to the end. Okay. So that is what I did. In my application to the fellowship itself, I wrote about my experiences in the civic space. And then in my PD, I said, you know what? There are organizations in the US that are doing exactly what I'm doing or similar to what I'm doing. I will want to work with them. And so I went to these organizations' website, studied what they were doing. That was why I was able to discover Plan, SOS, UNICEF, and then I listed about 5 in my application, including the the suggested organizations that we're told to also pick from the list of recommended organizations on the website. So this is why it's important for you to go through the website, check the list of organizations. I'm going to go through that website again. So this is the website. This is it. So these are the list of organizations that are recommended. From 2022, these are the list of the organizations. 1871, I don't know what that is. The Africa Global Commerce of Chamber, basically for those in the business sector, I believe. African Development Center of Minnesota, African Family Health Organization, African Wildlife Foundation, Alexandra Library, Alliance Theater, American Bar Association for lawyers, the Atlantic Council, Houston Lighthouse for the Blind, the Brookings Institution, Bike Back, Carriage House Farm, Center for Strategic and International Studies, Child Care Law Center, City of Philadelphia, Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services, City of Philadelphia, PA Police Advisory Commission, City of Phoenix, and so on and so forth. To go through this list, make sure you go through their websites and you can write down the ones you would want to work with, write down their names, make your research, and personalize your applications. Okay, that's what I did. So that's how I was able to get my goals to align with the professional development experience. And then after, remember at the end with the question is how would you apply an experience working in a US organization to your work after returning to your home country? Okay. So the truth is, even after the fellowship, some people would want to return back to your home country, and others who want to leave to another country where they can implement, like in my case, where they can implement their projects. Okay, and others would have the opportunity to. Anyway, there are a lot of. I'm not here to say whether you return to your home country or not. But integrity demands that you return to your home country to give back to your community, which is what I've been doing. Okay, through my online programs and platforms. I've been working with a lot of people that are resident in Nigeria, in Kenya, in Ghana, in some places in sub-Saharan Africa. I have been giving back. A lot of my free programs, free sessions, mentorship sessions are because of what I wrote in my application and where I want to see myself working in the youth sector, in the tech space, and helping people and businesses to grow. Okay, so find a way to make sure that you are honest in your application and you make sure that you are going to always give back to your home country one way or the other. Okay, so that is it. So how I would apply the experience working in a US organization to my work after returning home to Nigeria. So you have to mention your short-term results. For those in the business sector, your short-term results will probably be to look for, let me say, you want to look for partners or collaborators, because you already now know how this works in the US. If you didn't know when you were back home in your country, now you know that collaborators and partners are possible. As a matter of fact, there are tons of grants that are available to US Exchange alumni, not just Mandela Washington Fellow, but the entire US Exchange alumni. Those who applied for the Carrington Fellowship, those who applied for the Humphrey Fellowship, the Obama. I don't think Obama is US Exchange program. Obama leaders. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I should research on that. There are list of so many. There are CE fellows as well. There are list of so many US Exchange programs, and Mandela Washington Fellowship is just one of them. So you have to find out what are your short-term results. Look for partners or collaborators. Maybe get a machine if you are doing something that needs buying a new product or a new equipment. Okay, or maybe travel to another country, like some of us, did, and some of us also intend to. Maybe come back to the US to look for partners. So short-term results, you have to be very realistic about it, and then your long-term results. So, for instance, long-term results in the health consultants and techies is making sure that we reach thousands and thousands and thousands of young Africans in rural communities and introduce them to empowerment initiatives. Okay, because I have seen firsthand what the lack of empowerment can do in rural and migrant communities when I was working in Nigeria. Do you understand what I'm saying? So those are the short-term results and the long-term results, and you have to be very clear. You have to writing your essay. This is very important, and I need to make this clear. I need to make this very, very clear. Hello, can you hear me? Or this is live on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and on Facebook. So if you can hear me, let me know in the comment section that you can hear me and that you are following. Okay? Can hear me? Let me know that you can hear me and you are following me. Okay? So I want to say that when you are writing an essay, and this is not just for the Mandela Washington Fellowship. When you are writing an essay for any scholarship at all, you must always remember that you are emotionally invested in that essay. You are emotionally invested in that essay. I always do tell people, forget about the word count. Write from your heart. Write from your heart. Pour it all out. Write as many words as you can. Exhaust all your options. As you have seen me break down these questions into other subsections, that is how you'll be writing and writing and writing and writing. Now, when you are done writing, make sure that you abandon the work. I'm not a fan of those who submit applications at the deadline. You don't have any superpower. If you want to submit in the deadline, that you can get in. A lot of people got in, but I don't want to put myself in that situation where I have to wait until the deadline before I hit submit. What if something happens, like your device breaks down, the internet got cut off, something happens, and just 2 minutes before the deadline, you've messed up. So prepare ahead. I'm a believer of people who prepare ahead. Make your research way ahead. If you are listening right now, you should even be taking notes, okay? Because the more you take notes, the more you use your pen and paper. There's a connection that thing does to me as a person. I use my pen and paper to write down things before typing them down sometimes. Now, sometimes I could type them directly. If I'm listening to someone speak, I could type them down directly, and it makes a lot of sense, right? Then when I'm done writing, if it was 250 words, I don't mind. Write 500, 1,000. I pour down everything, exhaust all the questions, and then later I just leave it. Maybe two days, sometimes 1 week, sometimes 2 weeks, like in my case. All right, I left it for about a month. I kept writing, make my research, watch tons of YouTube videos, listen to past fellows talk about their experience, attended free programs or events, and then wrote down everything, left it, and then left it. Went for a project in a one community like that, and then after 1 month, I came back. I looked at it with fresh eyes. I was emotionally disconnected from my application. I started looking at it with fresh eyes, and I could see my errors, my mistakes. Oh, this one is not supposed to be there. This one is supposed to be there. I need to take this one from this part and push it up there, and so on. So that was really clear for me to do. The fact that this is the first application I wrote and I actually got into the program, it's by divine providence, isn't it? And of course, personal research and the fact that I did put in the work to make sure that my essay was top notch. You wouldn't see any grammatical error because I always edit. When I'm finished writing everything, and the second time I'm editing my work, I'm using a software like Grammarly. Okay, they should pay me for this anyway. I use a software like Grammarly, and so when I'm reading it the second time, I'm not writing this time around because I've exhausted everything or most of the things I need to write. So when I'm now reading it online, I need to put this. When I'm now reading it online, I'm reading it with Grammarly to assist me. So I check the errors of everything, and then I now be able to work. Then there was nothing like ChatGPT, so I did all of this manually. Now that there's ChatGPT, what am I going to do? I'm just going to read, correct, remove everything manually. Then if I still have a problem with the word count, I'm now going to copy what I have done. Okay, I'm going to copy what I have done, and then I'm going to paste it in ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to summarize it to 250 words. That is the trick right now. That is the trick. That is the clearest thing I'm going to tell you right now. That's how you can summarize your essays. Don't make ChatGPT to be the one writing your essay for you. For those of you that are tech savvy, write your essay, write it from your heart. Make sure you edit it with Grammarly. Leave it for a while. Disassociate your emotion from your writing, and then come back. Go do something. Go make love, go see your partner, go see your children, travel, go work. Like in my case, I went to work, left my office, went to communities, go take some ice cream, whatever makes you happy, do it, right? And then when you come back, you see that you have fresh eyes to look at your application. You see all the mistakes, you see everything that you are supposed to see, and then you see the grammar errors. Okay, and if you have edited this manually and it still doesn't work, then you take it, paste it in ChatGPT, ask it to, don't ask it to add anything, don't ask it to add anything that you didn't write, please. Just ask it to help you summarize it to the specified number of words. That is what I would do if I was writing the application again today. But again, ChatGPT wasn't there when I was writing my own application. So imagine I had to read it over and over again. Every week when I come back, I see the thing I'm supposed to remove, and I see the ones that are very crucial to my application. All right, so let's go back. Yeah, Augustina, she said she can hear me clearly. Thank you so much. So I'm going to share my screen again, and then let's talk about the rest of the application. Okay. All right, so this was just, if you can see my screen, this was just me typing and typing and you can see three. I don't know what it's doing there. I just kept typing. So this was rather, the PDE is an opportunity to introduce fellows to new perspective in their fields, deepen awareness. So I wrote down everything the PDE meant for me and every other thing that I needed to write, and put them in colors, best practices, blah blah blah. I put all of them. Okay, so this is it. So this is how I did it. And when I was done reading and writing and writing and writing, I now edited it to fit this particular line. I think this was the final line that I wrote. I said, working to address child protection issues has given me the opportunity to analyze how best children should or should not fit cultural expectations and the roles of adults. Don't forget, this is the first question I'm trying to respond to. What are your goals for the professional development experience, including the specific skills and knowledge that you hope to gain? So this is how I started mine. After writing and writing, I edited it to this point, and this is how it went. Working to address child protection issues, blah blah blah. Okay, so I said I am also at the forefront of strengthening capacities to deliver basic education to children who are victimized by their communities. My work presently makes it possible to have first-hand information about the parents and communities' contribution to giving children quality learning and education, as this aids in tracking progress in child development and protection. Okay, so that is my goal, isn't it? The PDE in the US will deepen. This is why this program is important. Having said what I have been doing to address child protection and what I intend to do and what I have witnessed in the process of doing that work, and I went in, you see the connection, right? And I went in to talk about what the PDE program in the US will do for me. So I said here, the PDE program in the US will deepen my awareness and understanding of child rights and protection and expose best practices from the US administration for children and families, child welfare information. So this was my research. So you can come up and say the PDE in the US, if you are in the business sector, right? You can say the PDE in the US will deepen my awareness of or my appreciation of how to write business plans, how to seek for investment opportunities, how to seek for grant opportunities, how to get best practice for product development, maybe agile framework or something like that. And you can even mention, like I went straight ahead to mention the names of US organizations that were doing something or the US ministry or administration that were doing something similar to what I was doing. Okay. And I went ahead to say that the learning process, this is it, the learning process will open me up to all of these opportunities. Child protection, offer insights to child-centered topics, So when you go ahead to mention, for this is all my goal, this is my goal right here. I'm going to put this in color. My goal right there, what the PDE will give me, the opportunities for the PDE, okay? Opportunities for the PDE, and then the learning process. This is how I divided my work. The learning process, okay? What I am going to learn as a result of working. Remember, this is it. Your what? Specific skills, which is what you intend to learn as a process of working with the US organization, and the knowledge you hope to gain. So that is how I put mine, okay? And then remember, the last question was, how do you want to apply what you've learned in the US organization when you want to return to your home country? And how did I put that? I say at the end of the program, you can see that at the end of the program, I hope to be a part of the solution at the national level. Oh shit! Have an increased understanding of the available and strategic data landscape from CBOs that serve children in Nigeria. Now, the nature of my work right now have changed because it's part of the experience in the US that things can change for you. After my experiences in the US, I asked myself, no, I need to upgrade what I'm doing in communities. I need to really pay attention to what really matters. And although I am not working at the national level at the moment, I want to tell you guys that my organization, where I'm the vice president of the Anti-Suicide Global Initiative, we were able to at least achieve something in 2023, beginning of 2023. The president finally signed into law the mental health bill. That was a very big blow. Not blow. What am I saying? That was a very big yes to whatever we were doing in the mental health space. Because I remember my work included working with children who were mentally disabled or challenged in a sense. For us to have the president acknowledge through signing into law a bill that protects children and young people who have mental health issues from further abuse and stigmatization meant a lot to us as an organization. So you have to be very realistic in whatever you intend. Don't come say, oh, I intend to be, anyway, some people can dream big, but I don't intend to be the president of Nigeria anytime soon. But you need to make short term. Remember, I talked about collaboration with CBOs, okay, with frontline delivery services. So you have to talk about short-term things that you're going to do when you get home. This is the last color. I think this is. I need to. No. It's not looking good. Okay, let me just put this in another color. Right. So this is how I was able to divide this is beautiful, color beautiful. The first goal and what I'm going to achieve and the learning process, what is going to do for me, and then what I'm going to achieve at the end of the program. Okay, so for those who are still in doubt that this is what I submitted, this is the application proper. I'm going to open this. Okay, yeah, this is it. Going to get this up, right? It's optional, so some people didn't apply for it, but I did. So this was the program. You see, this was the question. It says, what are your goals for the professional development experience, including the specific skills and knowledge you hope to gain? How would you apply an experience working in a US organization to your work after returning to your home country? So you can see this was what I just copied and pasted it here because this was what I just showed you guys. Working to address child protection issues allow me blah, 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 blah. So you need, and this is it again. All right. You can see everything I showed you is written here as well. I warn you, let me say this. If you copy and paste what I wrote here for this fellowship, trust me, you are not going to go into the program because IREX makes sure that they use a plagiarism software to check every application. So if you plagiarize, copy people's templates, you should have your common sense to say, no, this is so beautiful. How many fellows have been able to do what I've done today? Not many people have the time. A lot of people probably have done it, but I'm reading it out to you to guide you. I don't represent IREX or the Department of State. I'm just saying that this is how this is how my own application looks like. Not by divine providence, I got in when I submitted my first application because I made my research. I pray to God, and I'm happy that everything turned out well. And I'm happy that I also had a good reputation and relationship with all my colleagues, as you see behind me. They're very beautiful and wonderful people. John Ludin is not on this table. I appreciate him so well. Like I said, he was the country director of Guatemala. I keep messing this up, but you know what I mean. So he was the country director of that region, and I had an interview with him. Had an interview with Colton. Had an interview with McGraw. Had McGreen. Had an interview with a list of people. Okay, so I think there's really nothing else that I need to talk about for this program. It's very competitive, guys. From over 10,000 applications, 700 people are selected. And again, from 700 people, 100 are selected. And I became part of the 700 and part of the 100. So if that is not my efforts being blessed by God, I don't know what else. I don't know what else I need to say. So if you are listening and you have questions, I would be happy to attend to them right away. I think that's just it, guys. That's just it. You are listening. I love this cap. I've not worn this for a very long time, so I decided to wear this today. And I have my braids. Okay. Any question, please? Any question about So if there is any question, I'll be happy to respond to them. All right, Agostina, thank you so much for showing up. If there are questions, I'll be happy to respond to them. Thank you, Obina. If there are no questions, oh well, I've done justice to the topic, and this is me paying forward what I learned, my experiences working in the US, and what it actually did to me. Okay. So I'll wait a bit just in case anyone have any question. You can drop your question in the chat box in the comment section. I'll just go through my socials now to see if there are questions, and then I'll respond to them. Okay. All right, guys. So thank you so much for showing up, and I wish you all the success in your application going forward. So if you are having issues or challenges applying for the fellowship, please watch my session. I had that session earlier on. I also read my winning essay, and this one is for those who are also applying for the PDE program. And here's to your success every day, and see you soon. Bye.